Now let's finish up this section with these last couple pages of notes. Now the first thing we're going to get at is some special lines that are of great importance to us. The first one, it says x is equal to 4, so they want us to graph that. So let me insert a little table here. All right, so if x is equal to 4, then if I have x, and then over here I've got y, okay? Now, no matter what, x has got to be 4, right? Every time, because it says x is equal to 4. So what's y equal to? Well, it could be -5, it could be 0, it could be 2, it could be, oopsie, 3.14159 or 69, blah, 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 blah. No, I wasn't really shooting for pi there. I just made up numbers off the top of my head, and that's what came out of my head. All right, so what is that going to mean for your line? Well, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to go to a different program here. So x equals 4 is going to look like this red line right over here. Let me make it thicker so you can see it. Okay? That's what it's going to look like. It's going to have a vertical line, goes up and down. X is 4 no matter what, every time. Good? Okay. So now what about y equals -3? Well, it's going to be the same deal, right? Y is going to be -3, so no matter what, this has got to be -3, -3, -3 every time for y. Okay, but x can be anything you want, right? I didn't put any restriction on x. X isn't even in the equation, right? So x could be 1, x could be -1, x could be 3, x could be -4.0963, right? All that would work, which means what? Well, it means that y equals 3 is going to look like this blue line right here that I'm drawing. It's going to be a horizontal line that comes across, right? And then I will put that right in there. There we go. So x equals is a vertical line, and that's exactly what we got to get down here. So if it can be x equals a number, that's going to be a vertical line. And if it's going to be y equals a number, that's a horizontal line. Okay, so if it's x equals, and I've just used the letter A to stand for that number, right? So if it's x equals A, that's a vertical line. And if it's y equals B, it's just any number will do, but I'll just use y equals B. So if it's y equals B, that's going to be a horizontal line. And they drew a couple quick pictures here. Right? A and B are just mean numbers, right? They're constants. So that's what constant means. It means it's just some number, you know, like 3 or 4.2 or whatever. All right, so vertical, horizontal lines, very important to know. Vertical lines are x equals, horizontal lines are y equals. Right? Y equals a number, x equals a number. All right, then I have a lovely graph of an equation that I've drawn with this program over here, right? So I drew that, and then I want you to tell me, okay, basically this is a question about, can you read a graph like this? When you look at a graph like this, do you know what you're looking at? So I want you to find y, estimate y when x is equal to 7. So you go, okay, x is equal to 7. So this is the x-axis. So you go over 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 right there. And it looks like it's about a half, right? Or you could say 0.5, that would work. Cool, done with that. All right, now we'll do it again. Estimate y when x is equal to -2. All right, so here's -2 right here for the x. So you go down and you look for the y value, and that's -4. So y equals -4. That's all they're doing. They're just getting at, do you know how to read a graph? When you look at a graph like this, can you find the values? That's all this is a question about. Yes, you will actually get questions like this on tests. Not very many, but they do happen. All right, now C looks almost the same as A, so you're thinking, well, how is that any different? Ah, but I switched the letters. So this time I'm saying find X when Y is 7. So instead of going over to the 7 to the right, you're going to go up 7, right? And you're going to realize, Alana, that's a trick question. It doesn't give me that info. And you'd be right. So let's change this so that it's y is equal to 1. How about that? That's something that is on the graph. So if I go to 1 right here, that's x is equal to 8. Right? Again, I switched it because the number they gave me actually wasn't on screen. That was a typo on my part. Okay? And yeah, you could plot it out, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to say x is equal to 8. All right, then what about when y is equal to negative 2? Negative 2, go over to the right, and it looks like x is positive 2. So there you go. So when y is negative 2, over here, x is positive 2. So these bottom ones were asking you, hey, here's the y value, so go up and down, and then go over and find the x value. These top ones were giving you the x values, negative 2 and positive 7, and they wanted the y values with it. So it's just a question of, can you read graphs? Now let's look at just a little bit. When we look at these graphs, can we spot the slope? So one thing you want to look at when you're looking for slope, you kind of want to look for points that are on the grid. So you see how like there are points that literally fall on the grid, like -8, -7, then -6, -6, then -4, -5, and so on. So you want to pick one of those points. Like I'll start here at the -4, -5, and then I want to get to the next point, which is -2, -4. So to do that, I have to go up 1 to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2, right? So remember that slope, oops, if I can spell it, is equal to rise over run. Okay, so we have to think about how far up or down do we go, and then how far left or right do we go. Okay, so for our particular graph, we went up 1, then we go to the right 2. So that means that our slope is +1 because up is positive, +2 because 2 is to the right. So it's a half. So our slope is 1/2. And that is the beginnings of slope, which is what we cover in the next section. So I will see you then for the slope of a line. See you, bye.